On the night of April 28, 1881, the most hunted outlaw in the American West sat alone in a second-floor jail cell. He was shackled, guarded, and just weeks away from his execution. His name was Henry McCarty, but history would remember him by a different name, Billy the Kid. He was only 21 years old, and in just a matter of hours, he would become the only condemned prisoner in Old West history to escape by killing both of his guards. This is the story of the most daring jailbreak the frontier had ever seen. By 1880, Billy the Kid had already cemented his reputation as one of the West's most elusive gunmen. He rode with the regulators during the bloody Lincoln County War in New Mexico, a violent feud between rival business factions that turned the entire territory into a battlefield, including the murder of Sheriff William Brady. The territorial governor, Lew Wallace, put a bounty on his head, sparking a massive manhunt. But his luck ran out in December 1880, when the relentless lawman Pat Garrett finally cornered and captured him. Garrett transported Billy to the town of Mizia for trial. The verdict was swift and brutal, guilty of murder. The sentence was death by hanging, scheduled for May 13, 1881. Until then, Billy was to be held under heavy guard at the Lincoln County Courthouse. The courthouse jail was hardly a fortress, but for a man in shackles, it was a formidable prison. Billy was kept shackled at the ankles and wrists whenever he was moved. 2 deputies were assigned to watch him around the clock, James Bell and Bob Ollinger. Ollinger, in particular, despised Billy. He reportedly taunted the young outlaw daily, promising to be there on execution day, and even bragging that he'd gladly pull the lever himself to make sure Billy never had a chance to escape. And he knew that if he ever made a move, Ollinger wouldn't hesitate to use it. The tension in that small room was suffocating. Billy was counting down the days to his death, but he was also watching, waiting for a single mistake, a single opportunity. That opportunity arrived on the evening of April 28th. Deputy Bob Ollinger left the courthouse to escort a group of other prisoners across the street for dinner. For the first time, Billy the Kid was left alone with just one guard. Accounts differ on the precise details of what happened next, but everyone agrees it unfolded with shocking speed. Billy's hands were cuffed and his legs were bound, but he could still walk. As they made their way down the main staircase of the courthouse, something went terribly wrong for the deputy. Some reports claim Billy, known for his small wrists, managed to slip one hand out of his cuffs. Others say he lunged at Bell in a sudden, desperate struggle, trying to grab the deputy's pistol. What we know for sure is this: a single gunshot shattered the evening quiet. Deputy James Bell staggered forward, mortally wounded. He stumbled through the courthouse door and collapsed in the dusty street outside. Billy the Kid, the condemned prisoner, standing at the top of the stairs, armed. He had just killed his first guard, because Bob Ollinger was still alive and he was coming back. Hearing the gunshot, Ollinger came running. Billy didn't panic. He rushed back upstairs, his mind racing. He knew exactly what he was looking for. Ollinger's shotgun, Lucretia. He found the weapon, the very gun meant to ensure he never escaped. He quickly loaded it and moved to a second-floor window that overlooked the street. Down below, chaos was erupting. Townspeople were gathering, drawn by the sound of the shot. And then Ollinger appeared, running back toward the courthouse to see what had happened. He looked up at the building, but he never saw the figure in the window. He never saw Billy. As Ollinger reached the gate just outside the courthouse, Billy leaned out the window, leveled the heavy, double-barreled shotgun, and fired. The blast echoed through the town of Lincoln. Bob Ollinger dropped to the ground instantly, killed by his own weapon. According to witnesses, Billy then shouted down in a clear, cold voice, "Hello, Bob." In less than an hour, Billy the Kid had killed both of his guards and had taken complete control of the courthouse. But even after the killings, Billy still had one major problem. He was chained. The heavy leg irons were still locked around his ankles. He found an axe or a pickaxe and started the slow, noisy work of smashing the iron shackles. Down in the street, the terrified townspeople listened, but no one dared to intervene. The courthouse had become Billy's fortress. Some accounts say he even took a moment to calmly collect a rifle and ammunition before leaving, ensuring he'd be well armed for the journey ahead. Finally, after what must have felt like an eternity, the chains broke. He stood up, free. He moved with a strange sense of calm. Witnesses later recalled that he even seemed relaxed, perhaps even smiling, as he prepared to ride out. By the time an organized pursuit could be formed, it was too late. Billy the Kid had vanished into the vast New Mexico wilderness, a landscape he knew better than anyone. The outlaw had just turned his death sentence into one of the most famous and audacious jailbreaks in American history. News of the escape spread like wildfire across the frontier. Billy's legend exploded, but the escape also sealed his fate. Pat Garrett, the lawman who had captured him once, was furious and embarrassed. He immediately intensified the manhunt, vowing to bring Billy in, dead or alive. Garrett knew Billy wouldn't stop running, and Garrett wouldn't stop hunting. The chase didn't last long. Less than 3 months later, on July 14, 1881, Garrett tracked Billy to a ranch in Fort Sumner. In a darkened room, the lawman fired 2 shots. Billy the Kid, the legendary outlaw, fell to the floor, dead at just 21 years old. Billy the Kid's escape from the Lincoln jail remains one of the most debated events of the Old West. Questions still linger today. Did he have help from someone on the inside? And why was security so shockingly lax for the most notorious outlaw in the territory? But what's undisputed is the sheer audacity of the event. A prisoner, just days from the gallows, killed both of his armed guards with their own weapons, broke his own chains, and rode back into legend. In the violent landscape of the American frontier, survival often belonged to the fastest gun or the boldest risk-taker. On that April night in 1881, Billy the Kid proved he was both. His escape wasn't just an act of desperation. It was a final, loud declaration of defiance. And though his freedom lasted only 77 more days, the story of the night he shot his way out of a courthouse would echo far, far longer, transforming a young outlaw into one of the most enduring legends of the American West. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more tales from history. We'll see you in the next one.